Hi everybody, Red Hill Eagle here. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 2 of our new series, Best for Business. Our user character is Stephanie McMahon. I probably didn't make that clear in the first episode actually, but it was between her and Triple H, and I just thought that a few more years with Stephanie, if our series lasts that long. But yeah, so that was actually to sort of clear that up. I may have mentioned it, I can't remember, but also. And I've said this before in some of my other episodes from other series, I don't really know anything about wrestling after 1994. Little bits and bobs here and there that I kind of picked up and watched, but nothing really. So this series is very much going to be, there's things going to happen that you're just going to think, that character never would have done that, he never would have said that, he never would have. So yeah, there's going to be a bit of that, but I'm just going to enjoy myself with this one. It's the first time I've sort of done anything this modern. I haven't even done any private saves sort of within this sort of time period with WWE. So I'm going to see how it goes, I guess. We'll start off with a pre-show match, and most of our women's division is going to be pre-show at the moment until I can sort of get my head around how I want to play it. I'm going to keep it pretty low-key at the moment. But we do start with Naomi taking on Paige, and it's a 44 rating as Paige gets the win in 13 minutes 29 by pinfall with a rampage. And then just second, we've got another pre-show match, women's. We've got some tag team action, for just something a bit different. They'll just get some more on the card, I guess. Dana Brooke teams with Summer Rae, and they take on Becky Lynch and Natalya. 39 rating in an abysmal pre-show match. Becky Lynch and Natalya defeated Dana Brooke and Summer Rae in 13 minutes 55 when Becky Lynch submitted Dana Brooke with a disarm her. So Becky Lynch was head and shoulders above everyone else. So most of the women's roster are unimportant. I think there's 3 that are recognisable. So it's going to be a lot of work as well to get some of them over. And I know that's even more difficult if I'm only having them in pre-show. But until I can sort of get my head around it a little bit more and sort of, I never do women's wrestling. I never do, divisions. I never do cruiserweights or hardcore divisions or anything like that. So it is a bit more for me to take on. So yeah, at the moment I'm just going to be sort of taking it slow. So we head into the main show. Oh, Natalya sustained a chronic shoulder pain in this match. Summer Rae got a lot of heat. Oh, it's her fault. So yeah, let's head into the main show. And we'll kick off with AJ Styles in the ring, and he's cutting a promo on John Cena. So there's a few pre-booked storylines or pre-made storylines that were in this mod, which I'm going to continue. I'm going to sort of have them go for a couple of months. I've introduced a couple of my own stories as well, just to sort of get the numbers up. So we're going to go with them, and one of them was AJ Styles with John Cena. There's a couple of tag teams as well involved in the storyline, but yeah, we're not going to go too in depth at the moment. There'll be some angles where I go a little bit more in depth than others, but this is just a basic AJ Styles promo on Cena. Cena comes out, and they just have a bit of a war of words or sort of argue with each other. 83, and the storyline does gain heat. And then we've got in-ring action as Bo Dallas takes on Sami Zayn. 54, a little bit disappointing. In a bout that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling, Sami Zayn defeated Bo Dallas in 6 minutes 36 by pinfall with a hell of a kick. Yeah, a bit disappointed with that one actually. Bo Dallas only getting a 32, Sami Zayn a 61, which is a lot better. Sami Zayn's probably someone I would look to push. I'm probably not going to go into the whole conspiracy theorist or paranoid gimmick, whatever it was he had recently. But yeah, he's definitely someone, when you look at his stats, he could do a job. So I'll be looking to push him to some extent. And then we've got Seth Rollins, and he's in the ring, and he's demanding his entitled rematch for the WWE title against Dean Ambrose. Ambrose comes out, and he says, well, I'll tell you what, if you can win tonight, you can have your rematch. So Dean Ambrose is the face here, and Seth Rollins is the heel. So I mean, Ambrose all along really would accept the challenge. He's just kind of teasing Rollins a bit. Well, make sure you win tonight, and then we can talk about it, and we can, I can agree to put the title on the line against you. So 77, which isn't too bad. Seth Rollins was very poor trying to improvise dialogue. A bit surprised about that. I don't know what he's like in real life, and without looking at the stats, I'm not sure. I just thought he would have been pretty decent. But anyway, there we go. Bray Wyatt takes on Ryback, and this is a rating of 52. Bray Wyatt gets the win in 12 minutes 15 by pinfall with a sister Abigail. Bray Wyatt is definitely someone I'm going to push to the moon. Definitely want him in and around that title picture, probably at least in a year's time, maybe a year and a half. But yeah, he's I didn't watch wrestling at this period, but what I did see of Bray Wyatt, I thought he was an awesome character. The way he came out in that kind of wheelchair, the lantern and the whole kind of the spooky elements of it. Yeah, I really liked him, and by all accounts, he was great in the ring as well. I mean, we've got here he sustained a chronic upper back pain. I mean, that's hopefully that's nothing too bad. 52, I'm a little bit disappointed with, but Ryback's on his way out. He's angry with the company. There's a lot of stuff going on with Ryback over the last sort of few years. I'm not sure I think he's got a couple of screws loose, but yeah, he's definitely not someone we're looking to push or anything, and he'll probably be going when his contract's up. Even if I did want to keep him, because I think he had a good look, but I don't think he'll sign a contract with us anyway. Yeah, there we go. Chronic upper back pain. Oh, and Ryback was wow. We then got Rusev in the ring, and he's cutting a promo, and the current US champion, he wants to rename the title the Bulgarian Heavyweight Championship. He's Bulgarian, he's got that belt, and he's sort of just, the US, I've got your belt, I'm Bulgarian, I think that the title should now be renamed the Bulgarian National Title, and I'll take it home with me, and I'll defend the belt against fellow countrymen. And then we've got Apollo Crews come out, and he just decides that he's going to defend the honour of the United States, and that is a privilege to hold that belt. Don't mock it. That is a representation of the United States of America. It's an honour to hold that belt. You should think yourself lucky that you even get an opportunity to fight for it. So this really is just setting up one of our storylines that I've put into the system. So we're gonna have Apollo Crews and Rusev. Yeah, but I mean, obviously we'll sort of see where it goes. We're not renaming the belt, but yeah, I might do it as a bit of I might put it in game as a bit of a kind of in joke, if you like. Sort of Rusev will try to tell people, it's not the US title, call it the Bulgarian title. We might have it that he really kind of tries to drum that into people. But yeah, this was just to set up a storyline. 58 rated angle. This is another storyline that I've set up between these guys. The how do you say Vaudevillains? Vaudevillains and the Usos. So the Usos they're basically showing everyone a session in the gym. It's kind of like a bit of a promo video, but they're in the gym there working out. But every time one of the Usos wants to go on one of the machines or pick a particular weight, Simon Gotch or Aiden English come along and they sort of get there first, and I'm using this, and every time they might only do like 2 reps of like a couple of dumbbells, and then Aiden English might see Jey Uso head over to the leg press, and suddenly Aiden English needs to use the leg press, and he jumps on there, basically pissing the Usos off and just being incredibly annoying. So not a lot at the moment, but we will sort of see it develop. Rating 58 overall then. Tag team action, the Shining Stars take on Sky High. Tag team is definitely something I want to utilise a lot. We need to get a few teams over. We haven't sort of got any really major, we haven't got many major stars as it is actually, but certainly want to get some, similar to the WCW save I'm doing, we want to get some more high profile tag teams. So yeah, I'll be looking at definitely trying to improve that division and get some teams over. But this had subpar wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Sky High defeated the Shining Stars in 6 minutes 38 when Luke Gallows pinned Epico with a gallows pole. Overall rating of 60, which isn't really too bad when you think about where these guys are placed on the roster. Apollo Crews comes along, and he's there's sort of talk that there's going to be a tag team match now. Apollo Crews will need to find a tag team partner, and so will Rusev. And Apollo Crews is thinking, well, I've got to get someone who's an absolute American hero. So he approaches John Cena backstage. John, don't know if you saw what went down with Rusev and the US title, but there's a tag team match tonight. I need a partner, and I can't think of anyone else but an absolute, you know, uh, United States hero. And John Cena accepts. Purpose of this angle was to sort of set that up. But also, Apollo Crews should get some sort of rub of pop from being in the same segment as John Cena. A rating of 82 as well. Yeah, pretty pleased with that one. Stephanie McMahon comes out to ringside with Triple H. Not a lot to say really about this segment. It's a 71 rating, but it's basically just Stephanie and Triple H announcing the new management structure within WWE, and that just is that Stephanie McMahon is now in charge. Triple H is kind of there and around, as a sort of right hand man. Vince is around, but he's taking a back seat. And this is kind of meta really, because it's just my way of sort of introducing to the audience that Stephanie McMahon is our user character, and will be going forward will be in control of operations. I don't think I'm going to do too much with them. I'm not going to have the whole authority and best for business kind of stuff going on. They're not going to be, the bosses that decide everything that's going on. But obviously they will be around and they will make some decisions. But I've always kind of come in from an old school wrestling sort of background. As I say, I only really watched wrestling in the early 90s. You had Jack Tunney as the president, but you didn't have this whole team of executives that the heel executives that would make all the decisions. So I won't be going that route, but yeah, this angle really just to sort of show that a change of structure. Jack Swagger takes on Kevin Owens, a throwaway match really, just to get Kevin Owens a victory. 74 rating though, which I'm pretty pleased with. Decent match. Kevin Owens got the win in 14 minutes 54 by pinfall with a pop-up powerbomb. Yeah, again, nothing really to write home about, but wanted to get Kevin Owens a victory. I looked at sort of Jack Swagger and thought, well, he's not really someone I'm looking to push, but I don't want him to be a jobber either. And we might get some pop from this. It was a pretty decent rating. The Miz cuts a promo. I don't want to do a lot with The Miz. I've never really been a fan. I think The Miz is an absolutely rubbish name, but he's currently the Intercontinental Champion, so we've got to sort of do something. So he cuts a self promo here, and Zack Ryder comes out and he makes a challenge for the Intercontinental title. So obviously at the end of the month we've got a pay-per-view coming up. I can't remember what I had down for July. Unforgiven, I think. So that match will more than likely happen at Unforgiven. I'm still a little bit undecided. I might decide to sort of do something. But at the moment, Zack Ryder is in the driving seat and making this challenge. Rating of 68. And then we've got that tag team match. The defenders of the US, I guess, against Rusev. And he's picked Alberto Del Rio as his partner. Not as many foreign wrestlers on the roster as I thought. It's kind of between Alberto Del Rio and I thought of Sheamus. Being Irish, he's still non-US, but I just think the fit was better with a Mexican in Alberto Del Rio. So rating 65, decent match. Apollo Crews and John Cena defeated Alberto Del Rio and Rusev in 9 minutes 46 when Apollo Crews pinned Alberto Del Rio with a spin-out powerbomb. 65 isn't bad. It's not brilliant, but that storyline does advance and it gained heat. So Cesaro is sort of backstage, and then he kind of sees a clock and realizes he's late for his match. So we sort of just see him sort of run. I'm late for my match. I'm late to get out. He sort of starts running, and Chris Jericho's there, and Chris Jericho he's just sort of standing there, really not doing much, maybe on his phone or something. See Cesaro, just decides to stick his leg out, and Cesaro just goes flying, chin sliding along the floor, and it's just a bit of a comedy moment, really. But Chris Jericho has just tripped Cesaro and made him go flying. Cesaro, without even really thinking, has just got straight back up and lamped Chris Jericho and literally knocked him to the ground. And, said something to him like, you're going to regret doing that. Whatever. Just, again, this is just another setup for a little storyline that we're going to have going on. going forward. Jericho, that kind of age now where he's got to be putting other people over. Cesaro, I quite like. I like to push him to some extent, so let's get some pop on him. Rating of 87 as well, which is decent. So then we've got that match. It's our main event, actually. Rating of 76, which isn't awful. They didn't seem to click, though, which that's a shame. That's a shame. So it could have been higher. So, yeah, Cesaro taking on Seth Rollins. Good heat and decent wrestling. Seth Rollins defeated Cesaro in 15 minutes 23 by pinfall with a pedigree. And we did have Chris Jericho did come out and interfere in the match, interfere with Cesaro, forcing Cesaro gave him a disadvantage, and Seth Rollins capitalised on that. As with the WCW save, I always tend to mention it. I'm sure it always used to tell you here when someone interfered in a match. I remembered this time, but I'm annoyed it doesn't tell you that anymore. Yeah, Chris Jericho should interfere against Cesaro as the finish, but 76 is decent. I'm quite happy with that. What do we get overall for the show? 69. Yeah, that needs to be better, and I think really the reason for that is this little note here. The general feeling is that WWE don't have enough interest in storylines going on. There was only 5 storylines in the game. 2 of those were women's storylines. And as I said, I'm only really going to be using them on the pre-show at the moment. But also, bearing in mind, we've got 3 recognisable and everyone else is unimportant. Their storylines aren't going to get as much heat anyway. So, yeah, with the 3 that we've added, plus the other ones that are involving sort of more of our top guys, hopefully that won't hang around for too much longer. Maybe, another show or 2. But, yeah, disappointing with 69. But I'm sure it's just down to that. So I think I'm going to call it a day there. I won't sort of do anything backstage at the moment because the last episode was kind of an entire backstage thing. So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Brand new for me. I don't know anything about these guys. Any advice would be great, actually. I'd like to be a little bit realistic about it. If you can give me some tips on maybe what a certain character is like and, maybe a particular program. Oh, so-and-so would have been really great if you had a program with, such and such. And, I'll look at doing it. So, yeah, I'm going to say goodbye. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please give a like and subscribe. I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.